Hello students, welcome back to Tuition Masters class 9th and 10th YouTube channel, and today we are here with doing your next chapter from grade 9 moments, that is Happy Prince. So today we have our grade 9 English session, okay? So grade 9 English session we are going to discuss the chapter The Happy Prince, okay? The last chapter, if you guys remember, was the Ishwar and the Storyteller, right? Which was a very beautiful short story. Now again we are going to learn about a very moral giving story about the Happy Prince, okay? You guys might have studied about that, so today we are going to study from your moments. So make sure, before we start, make sure to like this video, share with your friends, and subscribe the channel right away for more such information videos. So let us start with the Happy Prince. As you guys know, we are going to do the summary, themes, as well as the important questions of the whole chapter. All right, so let us start. Make sure you have read the chapter and we can quickly do the summary. So the story starts with the Happy Prince. Okay, who is the Happy Prince? Is he a person? Yeah, he was a person, but now he is dead. And the Happy Prince which you're talking about right now is a statue. Okay, it is a beautiful statue. What is it made up of? The entire statue is made up of gold. Okay, it is covered with gold. Eyes. Eyes are made up of sapphires. What are sapphires? Sapphires are the blue colored gems, correct? And in his sword he has a ruby. So all expensive things he is covered of. His entire statue is made up of gold. Okay, in his eyes there are sapphires, and in his sword also there is a beautiful ruby. He is standing high above the city on a tall column. Okay, on a tall column he is standing very high. It's a very tall statue. Okay, now what happened is, one night there flew over the city a little swallow. Who is a swallow? Swallow is nothing but a small bird. Okay, a little bird was flying over the city. His friends had gone to Egypt 6 weeks before, but he had stayed behind. So what happened is, the swallow's friends, right? They all went to Egypt. Why? Because in this place it was currently winters going on. Winter was about to come and it was too cold. So they went to Egypt. Correct? They went to Egypt to get the warmth. Okay, to get the warmth they went to Egypt. Okay, but what happened is, 6 weeks before only they went, but the swallow had stayed behind. He lagged behind. Then he decided that today I will go to Egypt. So one night when he was flying, he decided, now it's time for me, I'll go to Egypt now. All day long he flew, and at night he arrived the city and put up just between the feet of the Happy Prince. So what happened is, this little swallow was now, she was flying. I mean, he was flying all over again. He was flying too much, right? So he was now tired. He was tired at night. So he, in between the legs of the Happy Prince, the swallow took some rest. Now, Happy Prince's eyes are filled with tears. The swallow was preparing to go to sleep, but just as he was putting his head under his wing, a large drop of water fell on him. So what happened was, now the swallow came in between the legs of the Happy Prince and was about to sleep, correct? But as soon as he put his head down, suddenly a large drop of water fell on his head. Okay, from above, somewhere up, a water fell down, drop of water. Now he noticed that the eyes of the Happy Prince were filled with tears. Okay. Now, firstly, the swallow thought for a second that it is raining, but it looked about, there is no rain, nothing. So then he saw the eyes of Happy Prince. It were filled with tears, and the tears were running down his golden cheeks. His entire body was made up of gold, right? So his cheeks and face was also golden. So through that, the tears were falling. Now, see, it is actually a fiction, okay? It's fiction. No statues can now cry, right? That's just some personification, you can say, right? It's not real. It's just fiction to, make the story more interactive. His face was so beautiful in the moonlight that the little swallow was filled with pity. Pity, as in, sympathy. So the king, he had such a beautiful and, a great statue in the moonlight. It was looking so good that the little swallow was filled with sympathy, that, oh, why is the Happy prince sad and crying. So, on being asked the swallow why was he crying, the happy prince replied that when he was alive and had a human heart, he did not know what sorrow was. His courtiers called him the happy prince. So what happened now? The prince died. That's why he became a statue, right? So the happy prince, when he was alive, he had a very lavish lifestyle. Correct? He lived very lavishly. He was a king, obviously, right? The prince he was. So he, when he was alive, he had a human heart, correct? And when he lived in his kingdom, he never got to know what is sorrow, what is sadness, because everything, whatever he wanted, was ready. So he never saw any, despairness of people or himself, right? And all his courtiers, means the people who are in the court in the kingdom, they called him the happy prince because he never was sad or gloomy. Always he was happy. Now, they helped the poor seamstress. Now, what happened was next, they see that the happy prince actually sees that now when he's dead, okay, as a statue, the statue is tall high. So he sees the misery. He sees the misery of all the people of the place, of the entire city. He is tall above, so he can see all the misery of the people, and now he is sad. That's why he is crying. So now, the happy prince was set up so high that he could see all the ugliness and the misery of the city. Okay, his heart was made up of lead, but yet he could not choose but feet. So his heart was not a real heart. Now his heart in the statue, who will put a real heart that's pumping? No, right? It's obviously it's made up of some material. It was made up of lead. Okay, now this speaking, crying, that's just imaginary. Okay, so the heart was made up of lead, and he was still crying. The happy prince first. Okay, this is the first person. Happy prince saw a poor seamstress. What he saw? He saw a poor seamstress. Who is a poor seamstress? Is nothing but a female tailor, you can say. Female tailor who stitches clothes. They are known as seamstress. Whose son was suffering from fever and felt pity for them. He asked the swallow to give the ruby out of his sword hilt to her. Okay, so what did he do was, the first he said that to the swallow that I can see there is a poor seamstress. Okay, she is working very hard and the child is too ill. Okay, so the swallow said that how can I help you? So the happy prince said that on my ruby hilt, okay, on the sword hilt there is a ruby. Take it out and give it to the this thing, give it to the seamstress so that she can get money. Now what is sword hilt? Now look over here in this image, can you see this part? This is known as the sword hilt. This and this part, that is the sword hilt, okay, where the rubies are kept. The seamstress embroidered flowers on a satin gown for the queen's maids of honor. Okay, so the seamstress was embroidering flowers, working hard, and she had nothing to give her ailing son but river water. So Swallow was hesitant at first as he had to go to Egypt, but then decided to help the happy prince out of pity. So the poor seamstress was doing hard work, so that they could get some money at least, and she had nothing to give the ill child, so she gave some river water. That's it. So the swallow was hesitated. No, I want to go to Egypt. How will I go to Egypt? Then he decided that fine, I can go later on, but I will help the happy prince. So the first person they helped was the seamstress. Okay, first person was the seamstress. Now comes the second person, the playwright. Now, the next evening, when the swallow was ready to leave, next evening, the swallow said that I gave this gem and all. Now I am going to Egypt. So it came back to Happy Prince to say him bye bye. I am going now, but Happy Prince again made a request to Swallow to stay back with him one night longer. He said that please, just one more night you stay with me. Why? Because this time he asked the swallow to pluck out one sapphire from his eyes and give it to the poor playwright in a garret so that the playwright could sell it to the jeweler, buy firewood, and finish his play. So, what happened was actually, you remember when I tell you how the happy prince looks like, his eyes were made up of two sapphires, correct? The two sapphires were there in his eye sockets, correct? So he said the swallow that take out one sapphire and give it to the playwright. Now sapphire, that's a rare blue sapphire, so obviously it will be of some good cost, right? So he said that take it, give it to the playwright. Why? Because he is cold. The playwright is cold. He doesn't have firewood, correct? So he can buy the firewood to finish his play. All right. Now, the poor playwright was leaning over a desk covered with papers and the glass by his side. There was a bunch of withered violets. His hair was brown and crisp, and his lips were as red as a pomegranate. He had large and dreamy eyes and was trying to finish a play for the director of the theatre. But he was too cold to ride anymore, and hunger had made him faint. So basically, the poor playwright, he was quite depressed now. Okay, he was. It was now it's winters, right? Obviously, it was so cold. He needs a firewood to keep him warm. No firewood, no money was there. He wanted to complete the play as soon as possible. So his the hairs were brown and crisp. He couldn't take good care of himself, and due to hunger, he had fainted. The swallow obeyed the command of the happy prince and flew to the playwright with the sapphire and kept it on the table. And it helped him finish his play. And then the playwright was very happy to receive sapphire, and he thought that it will be sent by an admirer of his play. He thought that my plays who read, maybe they are admirer and they gave me this gem. Okay. So, who was the second person? The second person was the playwright. First was the seamstress. Now, third, the magical. Third is the magical. Now, what happened the next day? The swallow said that now, final bye bye, I am going to Egypt now. Okay, he sat on the mast of a large vessel and watched the sailors working. Then the moon rose. He decided that I will go back to Egypt now. So he said that now finally I'm going to Egypt. I'll say you bye bye. I'm going now. But Happy Prince said him to stop again. Why this time? Now that this time the Happy Prince said that now there in the square below I can see that there is a poor match girl. Match girl is who she sells matchsticks. Okay. What happened is by mistakenly her matches are in the gutter. It fell down in the gutter and they're all spoiled. Now, if she gets no money, her father will beat her. Okay, so that is why she's crying and weeping. She has no shoes or stockings, and her little head is bare. So basically, the Happy Prince saw that the poor match girl who sells matches fell in the gutter. So that's why she was very sad. So, how did he decide to help? He said that he said the swallow to pick the second sapphire of his eye and give it to the magical. The swallow said no, I will not give it to I, because if he already took one sapphire, another also sapphire it would take out, so the Happy Prince would be completely blind. So Happy Prince said that no, it's fine. You take out. I have seen too much when I was alive, so it's okay. You take out the another sapphire also and give it to the magical. So where the bird flew, gave the second sapphire also in her palm, and the magical was very happy. Now, what happens at the end? The next person. Next, what happens is next day the swallow sat on the prince's shoulder on all day long and told him stories and everything. So what happened? Basically, the bird, she it was feeling pity. He was feeling pity for the happy because he is blind totally. Correct, and he cannot see anything. So the Happy Prince said, just go, fly over the city, see if anything is good wrong. Okay, so what happened is the swallow flew. The swallow said that fine, I'll live with you only. So what happened is he flew all over the city. He saw the rich people were making merry in their beautiful houses, but the beggars, the poor beggars were sitting at the gates. He flew into the dark lanes where he saw the white faces of starving children looking out listlessly at the black streets. Okay, so the bird saw, the swallow saw that the children were begging for food and everything, and they were too sad. Under the archway of the bridge, two little boys were trying to keep themselves warm. So the swallow saw the fourth person now, that was the poor children. The happy prince. Happy prince said that now my ruby is gone, two sapphires also gone. Now he said that my body is made up of a very leaves of gold. So take out all the leaf by leaf and give it to the poor children. Okay, give it to the poor children. The poor, the children and the people, they were very happy. Okay, they were very happy. And now, but the happy prince was all dull and gray. He was looking all super dull and gray. He was looking all the golden bright shine of the happy prince was now gone. Then the snow came, and after the snow came the frost. So the streets looked like they were made up of silver. Now it was snowing and everything, so that's fine. All the little boys wore scarlet caps and they were skating on the ice. Now, it was getting colder and colder. So, the little swallow was also not able to bear it, and he would not leave the prince also because they both loved each other. He picked up the crumbs outside the baker's door when the baker was not looking and tried to keep himself warm by flapping his wings. But what happened is it was getting too much cold now and the bird couldn't bear it, and finally it was its time to die. So what did she do? He kissed the happy prince, okay, and murmured that goodbye dear prince, and fell down dead at his feet. So now it was time of the bird to die now because it was too cold. He couldn't survive that, so he kissed the happy prince and died at his feet. What happened at next is, as soon as the bird died, suddenly there was a crack inside of the statue as if it was something had broken. Remember, there was a leaden heart. There was a lead heart in his statue, so that had snapped into two pieces. Why? Because the happy prince was super sad by the bird dying. So the next morning, the mayor was walking into the square, correct? And he saw that the statue with his concert, the statue is what no golden, nothing is looking so dull. Threw it away. So they broke the statue, threw it away, correct? They burnt it actually, they burnt it. And the heart, it was made up of lead, so it couldn't be burned in the furnace. So what happened? The heart plus the bird, the dead bird, they both were thrown in garbage. Both of them were thrown in the garbage nearby. They just threw it. And what happened next was, God, okay, now talk about heaven. God said that to his angels, okay, to his angels, that go to the earth and bring me two most precious things. Okay, not the world, you can say in the city. Go and get me two most precious things. The two angels brought him the lead heart of the prince and the dead bird. So the God was very happy and said to the angel that you have very rightly chosen, for in my garden of paradise the little bird will always sing me, and gold made happy prince will always praise me. So with this, I know it was a little bit lengthy chapter, but yes, we have completed with the happy prince with this. Okay, now let us do some important themes now. What is the theme of the this prose happy prince? So first thing is, we have to explain how does the thing go. So see, happy prince, it's a basic story which tells us nothing difficult to understand here. It tells us about the compassion and sacrifice, okay, to help others. It is the compassion of the statue for the other people, to help. He's a statue, how do he cares to help or not care, but still he was helping. And bird was the major role because he helped the prince to help others, correct? So all the sensitive feeling and emotions were displayed over here. It even shows that we all should help each other, we should show humanity. The bird took the ruby eyes, gold leaves and everything to give it, and the happy prince also happily gave it out, correct? He did not hesitate once. The bird, although wanted to go to Egypt, if it would have gone to Egypt, he would have not died, right? But still he did not go to Egypt and stayed there, correct? So in the cold weather also it survived. With such the compassion and sacrifice also, in the end, as both of them were ended, so where they went to heaven directly, where the angels took them. So they were the most valuable things. This story is an allegory and portrays that whatever acts of compassion and kindness for others get as much as those who receive their kindness and charity. So it is very important to show how to help others. Show we should be generous, correct? Generous, we should be kind. All these moral values are displayed in this chapter. Okay, let us do a few questions. First question is, what did the swallow see when it flew over the city? When it was flying, what did it see? Now, the king was blind. Now, the happy prince was blind, so that's why the swallow went to see. It saw that there were beggars and poor children. Okay, poor children starving. So the bird said that they are poor children. The rich people are very happy in their homes and warm, but the poor children, they are sitting there begging and starving. So what did the happy prince say? Happy prince said that take out the gold leaves and give it to them. Okay. Let's move to the next question. The courtiers called the prince the happy prince when he was alive. Do you agree that he was really a happy prince? Give reason. Important question it is. You have to say that when he was alive, he was known as the happy prince. But was he really happy? So the thing is, first of all, it is true. You should agree to that. That yeah, he was a happy prince. When the happy prince was alive and had a human heart, he could never did not know what are tears, sadness, and sorrow, because he lived in a palace where everything was happy, everything was good and peaceful. No sadness, nothing was there. So his courtiers always called him happy prince because he was always happy and never was sad. So with this we have completed with the chapter. You can look here, quick mind map here. Themes: generosity, kindness, right? Setting is in the city only, and main character is the happy prince and solo. The side by side characters are the seamstress, playwright, little girl, and the poor children. Okay. This story, Beautiful, is written by Oscar Wilde. Okay, he wrote the story. And with this, we have completed with this story of The Happy Prince. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope it was informative. I will be seeing you very soon in the next video. Make sure to like this video, share with your friends, and subscribe the channel right away. I'll be seeing you super soon with a more exciting chapters. Till then, take care everyone. Thank you and have a great day.